Right, so welcome to the first episode of the Peace Cast. This is going to be a NRL focused podcast for all you dudes out there who want to listen, but not entirely NRL. We'll also chat about a few other topics. Sport's always a good one, and just what's going on in the world. Plus, we'll give our opinions on some basic shit. So that's what we're all about. So let's meet our hosts. Well, my name's Stoxy. I'm got no idea what to say about myself. Focusing on the NRL, I'm a Broncos supporter, so great times for me in 2021. Circle around the drain, and let's introduce my co-host today, Hodgie. Tell us a bit about yourself.
OG36, Mad Panther supporter, so I'm flying at the moment. Yeah, battle of the Broncos and Panthers tomorrow night. Should be
So we've timed this well to record the first podcast. We've got the grudge match coming up tomorrow night, which I believe you're going to, aren't you, with one of our other mates?
Yeah, with Bradley. Yep.
Yeah, another one of the pod hosts who's being benched tonight. The idea is that we've got 5 hosts for this, but it looks like we might just be on a rotation basis at this stage because there's only 2 of us for tonight.
I feel like it's going to be chopping and changing a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's life, isn't it? It's schedules.
But I mean, yeah, we'll figure it out.
So yeah, sticking with NRL for a bit. What sort of got you into the sport, Hodgie? Like, how did you first start following NRL?
Pretty much just growing up in Sydney, I think. My old man was pretty hardcore supporter back in the day, and I started playing when I was 5. So it's been a pretty bit of a staple sport for me through my life. Just been for as long as I can remember. Like, definitely with starting to play footy at an early age and having footy cards back in the day.
Yeah,
it was just like fanatical from like a really, really young age.
Just that like dodgy chewing gum in the packets that bloody tasted like cardboard.
Oh yeah, it's just hard as shit.
Yeah,
completely right. Yeah, right.
I used to get.
I've actually still got cards from like 1990.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, I had like a full sticker book in '92. That's sort of when I sort of came onto the scene. So I was from Melbourne originally, and then my family moved north to New South Wales, Wagga specifically. And we'd never even heard of rugby league when we came up. We were just all AFL up until that point. So being Victorians, the thing that got us into league was State of Origin. And it was 91, I remember, and it was that famous game at the SCG, the one where Mark Geyer just went nuts and started like jobbing every motherfucker and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it's sitting down rain. Yeah. And was it at half time? Wally Lewis had enough, and he starts going toe to toe with MG. And I was just like, whoa, look at this. You know, this guy looks like he's older than my dad at this stage. Like, and he's just this little old man going, this gigantic dude. And I was so impressed by that. Queensland lost the game. That famously ended with Mick O'Connor kicking a goal from the sideline for the win.
Kicking that one from the sideline. That's it. Yeah.
So that was my first taste of league, and so
God, what a hectic introduction to rugby league.
It really was, and I was hooked ever since. And so basically, I started going for the Broncos based on the fact that half the Queensland team, or probably 2/3 of it at that stage, were Broncos players. So that's what got
Broncos.
What got me onto the Broncos, and then 12 months later, we win our first premiership. So good timing. Sucks now, but
yeah.
But what you gonna do?
I went back to back, didn't they?
Yeah,
92, 93.
Yeah, both against the Dragons. There's some big names in those 2 games. But yeah.
It's funny, I've watched a lot of grand finals over the time, especially the old ones, and I don't have a big recollection of them playing the Dragons in either of those games.
No.
Which is weird, except for the fact that I'm pretty sure that Tina Turner.
Oh yeah,
that's her, right? Thing, yeah. She was at one of them, and she got those photos with Alfie in it.
Yeah, that's right. I think that was 93, the second one. Yeah, but,
it's weird because I don't remember the game, but I remember after watching after the game, and they were doing that the lap of honor and whatnot, and I'm pretty sure Alfie Langer was wearing some sort of 4X hat or something.
I think it was a Winfield Cup.
Oh, it might have been Winfield, actually. Yeah,
it
might have been, yeah.
Like Winnie Red's hat or something. Yeah. But, yeah, no, I know what you mean. I mean, being the 21st century now, I've got all those old grand finals on DVD now, and I've watched them 100 times. But I remember prior to getting them on DVD, you just had your memory of the day when you watched it, which, 92 grand final, I was 8 years old. And yeah, all I remember, I mean, the big moment you remember from that game was Steve Renouf getting that length of the field try.
That was that one. That's right.
Yeah, and absolute perler from the Pearl. And yeah, so that was the big moment that stuck out for me. And I remember, I don't know if you remember many of the Broncos players back then, but Alan Cann, back rower for the Broncos, he got 2 tries in that game, and one of them, if I remember correctly, he it was a charge down and he regathered and then scored and scored. I could be remembering that wrong. I haven't watched it in a little while, but being a young fella.
No, I think I remember. He didn't wear headgear, hey?
Nah, no, I don't think so. But anyway, we could do a poll podcast on the 92 grand final, but maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
because what.
What do you say, mate?
There you
go. I was going to say, we'll move things along and let's talk about what's happening in the NRL this week. So, big headline moment in NRL yesterday was John Morris getting the sack from the Sharks effective immediately. So, it's a bit of a funny story. I know a few people were surprised that he got the arse straight away. I believe he was told his contract wouldn't be renewed for next year, but they wanted him gone straight away. I thought it might have been sometimes you see a coach get the sack and throw the toys out of the cot and they say, well, stuff you, I'm going now. But did you see the tweet from his mum?
No, that last thing I heard from it was, I think Sean Johnson on, I think it was one of the Matty John shows, and he was saying that Craig Fitzgibbon was coming in, had been effectively signed for 2022 for 3 years.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear anything about him being sacked immediately and that Josh Hannay was going to come in and take over full time. The only reason I think that they do that, and I mean, it's just a bit of bro science, I suppose, that is it to stop them poaching players, do you think? Getting into players is...
Yeah, I think it could be the case, but at the same time, I mean, he's still got all the players' phone numbers, doesn't he? You could just text him whenever he wants once he goes. But
I mean, yeah, that's
the way I thought of it was, if they sack him now and he stays, what if they made the finals and potentially won the grand final and they've sacked him already? And how dumb does that make him look?
That does, yeah. That does make sense, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to, I mean, if he was going to get sacked, if now or at the end of the year, I don't know whether that would change a lot of things, but I guess it kind of makes sense that, I don't know. I hear people talk about it, and they're talking about how the fact of it's just a business.
Yeah.
These days, which it effectively is. That's what it is. So if you would think of if you were going to get someone in to run your business at the end of this year, the guy that's running it probably isn't going to be hanging around very long. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's fair enough.
You're probably going to want to get rid of them sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and yeah, it's funny because it is a business, but at the same time, it's very different as well, because it's not like when they sack a CEO of a bank, then you get people who bank with that branch firing up because, you know, I've supported this branch for years and you've sacked the boss now and stuff. And like,
it is pretty true.
Yeah, because you don't get emotional about that shit. You get emotional about your footy team, don't you?
Yeah.
And but yeah, to see, I mean, what I was touched on earlier was John Morris's mum, from what I saw, put out a tweet slamming the Sharks about the way they've handled it. How apparently this was completely like out of the blue that he would be sacked immediately from his perspective, and so just one of those things, I guess. It looks like they've come to the decision, because you don't just wake up one morning and say, "Oh, fuck this, I'm going to sack the coach." They've clearly come to a decision at the Sharks board, and they've already hired Craig Fitzgibbon, but John Morris seems to be the only one who doesn't know that he doesn't have a job tomorrow, you know?
I feel like the administration of the Sharks, once Flanagan was gone and Morris came in, Morris was always the interim. Like, I don't think he was ever signed as the full-time going forward coach.
Kind of felt that way.
I think for him and the players, I don't think it was like that. They obviously, I mean, they've played fairly well under him, and he's obviously like put in the effort that a head coach should. But the administration, I think, have always looked at it as though he's there for now, but we're going to be putting the feelers out. And I mean, I can understand why they hired Fitzy. Like, from everything I've read and heard, he's probably one of the best assistant coaches going around. And I mean, he's under old mate at the Roosters. So
yeah, Trent Robinson, his record speaks for itself. But yeah, and by all accounts, Fitzy's been doing an apprenticeship for over 10 years now, and yeah, so it's probably a good choice. But I mean, that's the thing though with the head coach job, is that you just don't know until they're sitting in the chair, do you? And unless they've already got a record like you, like your Trent Robinsons and your Wayne Bennett's and stuff like that, you know, you don't know. And even still, time changes things. I mean, you know, without trying to sound jaded as a Broncos supporter, Wayne Bennett's probably not the coach that he used to be. That being said, he's getting some decent results out of South, but yeah.
Look at South Front, they've got a pretty good roster.
Sure glad we swapped coaches with them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that worked out real well.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So
where is Seabold at the moment? Did he get another gig somewhere?
I think he's an assistant at the Dragons or something. Might be, or maybe even at the Sharks. I don't know. I think he got an assistant gig somewhere. But yeah, after last year, I can't.
Jeez, what a fall from grace for him, eh? Jesus. Oh, there's no way. What team would take a punt on, like, especially with like the pool of people that you have? Like, Shane Flanagan's a good coach and he can't get a full-time gig at the moment. Green, that was that. I mean, he's Paul Green. He's Queensland coach
now. Yeah. And so the jury's out there until Origin rolls around. Yeah, but anyway, I guess we can move on to another topic. Something else that's happened today, Kevy Walters has named his Broncos team, and the $1 million man Milford is not named anywhere in the squad.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. It's crazy. Like, I can't believe. It's like, I can understand his point of view as far as like giving him a certain amount of time to prove himself, like him and Croft. But when you're 5 games deep and nothing's changing, like not even like performances, I can understand like players can get in ruts and stuff, but you can definitely change your attitude around having a dig. And if you're not doing it after 4 rounds when you know that your career's on the line, it's probably time to spend some time playing park footy.
Yeah, and it's definitely one of those situations. I mean, you see in some teams when you've got a super talented half, say let's say Manly for example, they've got Daly Cherry Evans. The guy has a brilliant record. He's usually always firing. He's captain in Queensland at the moment. He's got his old partner in Foran back, and they used to have a terrific combo back in the day. Foran's probably not the player he used to be, but by all accounts, Cherry Evans is still a superstar full halfback. But a superstar halfback can only do so much with the team he's got around him. Now, the Broncos, on the 100%. other hand, they've got Matt Lodge and Payne Haas playing in the front row. They've got Alex Glenn, getting old, yes, but talented. They've got this young kid, Jordan Ricky, who's absolutely kicking goals. Got Paddy Carrigan, who's doing good as well. Just got all these.
Is he still captain?
No. Glenn's captain. Yeah, so they've got all these superstars, in their pack, but it doesn't matter what they do if the halves don't complete sets for them, and put in good kicks at the end of a set or come up with good fifth tackle options.
That's the issue. Yeah.
And that's it. You can see the Broncos march up the park and then do nothing on the fifth tackle, and then they find themselves defending. And then what can the forwards do when they're dog tired from tackling over and over and over? And then you can see their confidence. Could you
imagine being like Payne Haas or who's that other one you're just talking about? Lodge. Doing, like you said, doing that work, especially coming out of your own end, taking those hard carries, like especially Haas been like killing this year. Like his post contact meters and everything are ridiculous. Doing all that work, busting your ass, and then giving it to the guys that are supposed to finish that set off and, do something somewhat decent, and just set after set after set, just fucking it up all the time.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not just like, that must just be, a nightmare.
Yeah, well, and 100% agree. And you're talking, I'm a bloke that's supported this club for longer than most of the players in the team have been alive, and it guts you to see the rubbish options that they're putting up on these fifth tackles. They just, if they get to the end of the set, you can see their confidence is shot in the way they carry the ball, and they're just dropping the ball. But if they do finally get to the end of a set, they go, oh, what do we do now? They put up a bomb that goes nowhere. Milford kicks it dead a lot. So he's not good at getting that repeat set. Like, don't get me wrong, Milford's got probably maybe the best, if not second best, behind what's his name at the Tigers? Whatever you say his name, Dewey.
Oh, Dewey.
Yeah, Dewey. Yeah, Dewey. One of those two has the best talk bomb in the game. I'd probably give it to Dewey because he's far more consistent with it. But you see when Milford nails one of those talk bombs, it's got a fullback shitting himself and often putting it down. But you can't do that every set. And then sometimes they put it through the hands, and then Milford finds himself going, oh, where should I go? Oh, should I pass? He runs it, gets tackled, turnover, give him a head start 20 or 30 metres out of their own, off their own try line. So,
it's just like, it's the thing is, I think with Croft, and I don't know whether it's like, obviously he started his career at Melbourne, and he was pretty much like named to be the next Cooper Cronk, and to be honest, when he was playing in that team, he was probably leading into something like that. Like he was playing fairly well. But then like he's come to the Broncos and like obviously it's a different system, it's a different team. They've sort of gone through like obviously last year finishing last, but their roster on paper is definitely not like wooden spoon worthy. You just think, how do you come from like playing the way that Croft did when he was at Melbourne to Brisbane, and there'd be such a difference in player? Like they're not even nearly the same. Like he's probably borderline a reserve grade player now.
Yeah.
When you're under the pump the way that they are, how can you not just revert back? I mean, being a bit of an armchair expert, but how can you not just revert back to all the things that you know got you to where you were not that long ago, like a couple of seasons?
Yeah, I understand exactly what you mean, because surely you can't just leave a system like the Melbourne Storm, which is renowned for a player just doesn't walk into that team. They, you know, Bellamy puts them through their paces. He even makes them go and work on bloody construction sites to say this is what you could be doing. So they've got an appreciation for their job. He walks in. He comes into the team to replace arguably the best halfback of the last 15 years, probably second best behind Thurston, or let's not get into that debate. But he comes into the team and he's playing in the grand final that year. They lose the grand final, but that doesn't matter because they were in the grand final still, and he was the halfback.
And they're still a gun team.
Yeah, and so I don't know. Is the difference that he's playing alongside Cameron Munster as opposed to Anthony Milford, like, you know, different levels of talent there? Is the difference that any team with Cameron Smith is automatically better? Like, as we could see this year, Storm aren't at the same level as what they were with Smith in the team. Was he that influential a player that he can just lift everyone in the team?
I mean, there probably is some credit behind that, as far as I would say that the ball that he was getting while he was at the Storm was probably a lot better. I'm not saying who's old shit haircut for the Broncos. What's his name?
Turpin. Yeah, Jake Turpin.
With the rank hair.
Yeah, he looks
Turpin. Yeah.
Looks like an animal died on his head.
I'm not taking anything away from him, but he's a decent young player. But if you look at, that's exactly right. That's what I'm saying. And so if you come from a team where you got sort of Smith, who's playing hooker, but for all argument's sake is directing the team around the park, and you're getting pretty much quality ball off him every single time. Like there's no, like he's going to give it to you when you've got plenty of time. People around you are going to give you plenty of time. Your forwards are going forward and that sort of stuff. Having said that, he had a whole career leading up to that point. So, like you said before, you don't just walk into the storm, especially at halfback, and get a gig straight away. Like it just doesn't work like that.
No.
So he did stuff to get to that point. So it's not all the fact that, he was just sort of like, you know, put in cotton wool and got put into this perfect system, and that's the only reason he was a good player. Like there has to be reasons, like, you know, previous to that.
Yeah, they didn't just clone Cooper Cronk and then say, let's get the next one in, did they? No.
Exactly. So now, this is the thing that pisses me off. It's like, now, surely you can, obviously the situations aren't the same and it's not going to be as easy as what it was, but surely you can revert back to your basic shit and get the ball in the fifth and put it into the corner when you're struggling, or put up a decent attacking bomb. You know what I mean? Like there has to be like something you can figure out.
Oh, of course.
To get back to that. You can't be in a slump for 2 years. Yeah.
No, of course. I don't know. You got to say confidence must be an issue or something like that. You've seen Kevy's, Kevy Walters. It's tough to find a Broncos fan who doesn't love him. and wasn't stoked when he became the head coach. Broncos fans, a lot of us are very impatient. They want results straight away. That comes from, 30 odd years of constant success. So when you're down the bottom, people get the shits very quickly. I'm a lot more patient than that. I understand Kevy can be the best coach in the world, but you don't walk into the wooden steam. You don't walk into the head coach job for the wooden spooners, and then they're immediately successful. Unless you're Trent Robinson, I guess he did that, didn't he? But
I'm pretty sure he did. But again, his roster is like, yeah.
But what I'm saying is, so Kevy's inherited a pretty big mess with the halves he has. He's got Milford, who just hasn't lived up to his potential for a few years now. And when you look at the money that he's on, it's just not good enough, which I guess goes back to the whole point of this discussion, is that he's finally been dropped. Because, I mean, what else can he do? He's been playing Dearden off the bench. He's been playing Croft off the bench. Last week, Croft came off the bench with 10 minutes to go, and on the first set, he kicks it out on the full. But I don't know.
Playing him off the bench is just like, I don't know what he expected to happen from that. Like, he's not a utility player. He's 100%. He is down and out halfback, and a good one when he's playing well. He's quite a good halfback. Unfortunately, things don't seem to be going his way, so it's not really working out for him. But you're just wasting a bench spot, especially now. Like, with how quick the game is and everything, why would you put a halfback on the bench just to keep him in the team? It makes zero sense to me. And then to use him in the last 10 minutes of the game for what? Like, I don't understand what he's trying to gain out of it. And it seems like he's only 5 rounds in, and he's already started clutching at straws a little bit.
Yeah, he's at his wit's end, it feels like, already. But I mean, I guess this is what he's got. His next step. He's like, okay, we've got to ditch Milford for a bit, see how they go. So he's tried Milford with Croft for a few weeks. He's tried Milford with Dearden for a few weeks, and so now next step, it's got to be Dearden and Croft, and Milford's got to. You're not putting Milford on the bench. Although, honestly, he's probably the best 14 out of the 3 of them, isn't he? Like, he's actually got that potential to play.
That Milford?
Yeah. I guess.
That's honestly where I would play him. I'd have him as that sort of, like, again, I'm just being a bit of an armchair, but like, he has that sort of X factor that you could bring off the bench with 10 minutes to go in each half. And he could seriously be, if you say, go out there, you don't have to control the team, go out there and play as like a second lock or a second hooker, and just go out there and just float around. Even play sort of like that, almost that fullback role, because Isako sucks. Play that sort of second fullback role where you just come out and just play whatever's in front of you and see what happens. That would probably work for him because it takes the pressure off him. He can just go out and just do whatever he wants, get the ball. He's got a great running game. Like, there's opportunities for him in that team. But the issue is, with the way things are these days, he was a freak for a while. Then you get put on these long, very expensive contracts, and then things tend to go downhill pretty quick.
No, I couldn't agree more. Anyway, I guess that's enough about the Broncos and Milford. We've sort of hung on that topic for a while. Is there anything else going on?
Oh my God, have you been? Sorry, have you been checking this group chat? Sorry, I'm really distracted by that.
Yes, I have, but we'll maybe talk offline about that.
How is that? That's crazy. Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, I'll discuss
Hectic
that with
name
you.
too.
I'll discuss that with you after we stop recording.
Probably not the best platform on episode 1.
No.
That's hectic. That's crazy.
Yeah. So you got any other league topics you want to talk about for this week? Apart from Penrith are flying.
Mate, Penrith are flying. So I'm happy. As.
They're probably going to. The Broncos have a habit of posting record losses in the last couple of years, so it could be another one coming tomorrow night. Fortunately,
I'm telling you, the odds on them are, I think, as big as I've ever seen, especially head to head. $13.
Yeah, you got it.
And their big win, little win is just like nuts. Mate, I'm telling you, I'm going 10 head to head, 10 1 to 12, and 10 13 plus. And their Broncos 13 plus has gone from 101 into 81. So people are putting money on it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'm doing it because win-win.
Seems insane not to. Yeah, fortunately for me,
mate, there's no losing for me tomorrow night. It's going to be great.
I've got my local trivia night on tomorrow night, so I'll probably go to that and not sit at home and watch the game like I did last week. It'll be on. I'll wear my Broncos jumper to the pub and cop shit from everyone. But yeah,
I can't believe that. I can't believe I'm in such a good position as far as well, obviously, I'll be annoyed if we lose to the Broncos because no one's gonna want them to lose. But if they do, mate, cash money.
It's one of these funny things. Look, for you and I have been mates for 15 years, and this is a very strange feeling for me where your team is absolutely dominating and mine sucks ass. It's very much been the opposite for most of our relationships.
Mate, for up until last year.
Yeah, pretty much.
Last year, I reckon, was the first year. Horse shit. It's about time. It's about time it came around.
Yeah, we finally saw you get some Origin success in there as well. It was 2006 we met, wasn't it? So we met, and then Queensland didn't lose for 8 years.
That's when they started their fucking run. It's shit.
It's great. We won.
I still remember that night where was that game 3 when they won that year in 2006
at the Boozer, yeah, and with Lockyer getting that intercept.
Dave tippled beer on his head.
Yeah, and we're up on the table.
Was that him? And he jumped on the table and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was fucked.
Yeah.
Shit, that was a fuck night.
Fair enough then. All right. Well, do you want to talk about the games in this round? Let me just get the schedule up. So obviously tomorrow night we kick things off with Broncos versus Penrith at Suncorp Stadium. Sportsbet is flashing at me. The odds are changing very quickly. Broncos down to $12, so people must be getting on that action, according to what I've got in front of me. Anyway, I don't think you need to be bloody Albert Einstein to work out who's going to win this one. It's going to be Penrith. It's probably going to be by. I'd give Broncos a 30-point start, and they'll still lose. Being pessimistic,
I think that the way, obviously, it's going to be a hard ask for them to be competitive in this game to start with, because obviously Penrith are very confident at the moment. I think the problem with the Broncos is going to be if Penrith get a few tries in the early stages of the game, heads will drop, and as soon as that happens, I think that's when Penrith are probably at their best, and
it really is. They
potentially put a pretty bit of a score on them. Yeah,
Penrith, they could be the Sharks because they smell blood in the water at the moment, and once they get going, good luck fucking stopping them. And the Broncos, on the other hand, exactly like you said, you've probably seen over the last, even last year in the wooden spoon year, you would have seen them getting decent starts, like a 5 or 10 minute decent start, being sort of neck and neck with their opponent, but they can give up a try, but as soon as they give up a second one, then heads drop, and that's it. Then they let in 50. Saw it last week.
It's like with the Bunnies last week. They went with them last week, didn't they?
Well, they were 2 minutes away from going in 4 points down at half time, and then suddenly Souths get a try. Reynolds kicks a fucking 2-point field goal. Stupidest rule ever.
Yeah.
Stupidest rule.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so suddenly, we've gone from being 4 points down to being bloody 14 down or 12. Okay, fuck maths.
Yeah, because Reynolds scored just before half time, and then I think after
next
that
day
try,
two-point field goal.
That's when they went and kicked that 2-point.
Yeah.
So what's that like? It ended up being like 8 points in 3 minutes. So that's pretty rough.
Yeah,
that is pretty rough.
So, no.
So what was it? It would have been 12-6 at that point, I think.
So it was 10.
Yeah. So they got.
It was 10-6.
10-6.
It was 10-6.
Yeah.
And then they got the try, so it was 16-6, and then it became 18-6. So they went.
That's rough, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and
that's
killed
rough.
them around. Killed them right before. I was there. I was there saying, right, we go in 4 points down at half time. We've got a game on our hands here. We could actually come out of the sheds and say, right, let's get first points, and we're in. We're going. But that's it. Anyway.
The difference in confidence going into half time at that point with just that 8 points is massive. But
yeah. Anyway, enough about that. I'm tipping Penny. I'm tipping them by blood.
Yeah, it'd be pretty hard not to.
Yeah. Next game, Friday evening, Knights versus Sharks at Newcastle. This will be an interesting one.
I think.
Well, it's an interesting one. The odds are tight. There's only Knights have been good, but got the old cliche: sack the coach, and then the team wins the next game. So I'm inclined to agree with you that the Sharks will probably get up for this one.
I think that'll be their motivation. Will be that they don't want to be that team that goes to shit from this stuff. I think they've been through enough in the last.
They don't want to be the Broncos.
As far as as far as external pressure, I think they'll go all right. And the Knights have been a frustrating team this year. Like on paper, you think that I had them close to top 4 this year.
They're one of those teams
something's not clicking with them. I guess losing Pierce probably doesn't help, but
they're one of those teams that just bucks your tips every week. You're just like
100%. You always think they're going to win, and then they don't.
Yeah, or vice versa. All right, Friday night we've got Storm versus Roosters down in Melbourne. That should be a decent one.
Tough.
But,
I'm going to go Roosters, to be honest.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go Storm on that one. It's still one of the hardest road trips in the NRL, you'd think.
It is, but I'm purely doing it based off the fact that I'm 2 points behind a leader in a tipping comp. So I'm going to try and drag a few.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Drag a few rank ones, just in case. The Roosters are still 4-1 this year, so they're not going too bad. And Storm are 3-2, which I think is one of their worst starts to a season.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, Storm.
Having said that, they're coming off the back of a massive win. Yeah, true. I'll say outside of my tipping, I'll go with Storm too.
Right.
Probably 1-12, but I think it'll be close.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a good call. Saturday, Arvo, we've got Manly versus Gold Coast playing at Mudgee. That'll be interesting. That'll good for the country folk to get out and see some teams play, even if it is Manly and Gold Coast.
I'll tell you who it's good for. It's good for the Gold Coast because I reckon after Manly winning last week, I think Manly at Brookie this year against the teams that are sort of fringe to lower level teams, I think that they're probably going to struggle a little bit. So I think it's probably a good thing that the Titans aren't playing at Brookvale.
Yeah,
actually,
right.
They didn't play at Brookvale last week, did they? They played at Central Coast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I thought it was at Brookie.
Maybe Brookie's the problem. Yeah, so
I'm going Titans, but I think they got a decent seed this year.
Yeah, they've bought every player that you can think of over the last few years.
Well, mate, they become the Roosters. It's unbelievable.
There's some young kid playing in the back row for them this year. I don't know much about him. Some David Fighter or something like that. I don't know.
That loser.
Yeah.
Who was it? He got 3 tries last week, I think. He's killing.
Must be no good if the Broncos got rid of him.
He's killing. Mate, between him and Tino, that's just what a gun team to, isn't it? And him and AJ Brooms. I think because if you look through their roster, I think the majority of the rest of their players wouldn't be on a lot of money. They're just, for whatever reason this year,
moneyballing it,
stepping up.
I don't know.
Yeah, like you look at Peachy wouldn't be on that much. Rain wouldn't be on that much. Wallace wouldn't be on that much. Fogarty wouldn't be on that much. Ash Taylor obviously is. Corey Thompson isn't so much.
Although Fogarty might be on more than you think. I don't know. It'll be interesting when he renegotiates a contract because he's clearly.
I think that's where it might break him a little bit. I think if because he's a bit older, I think once comes around, because obviously they're playing Ash Taylor still fucking ridiculous money.
Yeah.
I think once Fogarty gets to renegotiate, I think that's where they're probably going to be hurting a little bit. He'll probably have to take a bit of a pay cut if he wants to stay at the Titans. He'll probably end up somewhere else, to be honest.
I'll take him at the Broncos at this stage. I'll take anyone. Just need some heart.
Mate, he might end up there.
Fingers crossed, Adam Reynolds. I'm hoping for Sean Johnson to be really in team John Morris's camp, and packs it in, and then we get him cheap next year. I'll take Sean Johnson.
Sean Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would take Sean Johnson for sure. I feel like he was one of those people that, if sort of like a little bit Benji-esque, where he was a proper gun when he was younger, then he sort of got too old to be that player that he was when he was younger, and so it kind of became this interim period where he didn't really know what kind of player he was going to be, and it didn't really go his way well. And now he's getting older, he's starting to play different, and he's becoming a bit of a gun again.
Well, that's it. And in the case of both him and Benji, it was when they were young, they were winning games off the back of pure X factor, and then, like you said, once they got a bit older, that didn't work anymore. But now they're both old enough that they know the game so much better that they're actually they're not winning it off X factor anymore. They're winning it off their footy brain, you know.
Oh mate, look at Benji at the moment. He's not doing how he's playing. He's not doing that much with the ball, but the stuff that he's doing is like quality, like real quality shit.
So anyway,
which is good because he's been such a gun player for a long time.
So yeah, next game. Speaking of Benji, Souths versus Tigers.
Bunnies, easy.
Yeah. By all accounts, there's drama going on with the Tigers. That apparently Brooks is on the outer now or something. I don't know.
Really? I haven't heard that.
Maybe it's just some rumours I heard. But, yeah, that'd be strange. Remember the big four at the Tigers? Oh, we've got to keep these 4 players, and Brooks was the only one who stayed in the end. And
Brooks was everyone, like Joey, Matty, like everyone was up Brooks' ass for such a long time about him being like the only really true halfback in the NRL and all that sort of stuff. It's going to be like the next big thing, and just has done. I don't know whether it's like these people put pressure on young blokes, whatever, and they just ended up living up to it. But geez, he just hasn't done much, has he?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you could argue that, I mean, Moses left, and I mean, he's been hot and cold since he left. Aaron Woods left and was good for a bit, but then he's sort of fizzled and that. And who was the other one in the Big Four? Tedesco. He hasn't done much, has he?
Mate, how insane that at one point in time they could have had Moses, Tedesco,
Brooks Woods.
Who were we just talking about? Brooks. That's crazy. That's crazy that they could have all been in the same team, especially that as 3 out of the 4 in the spine would have probably been pretty handy.
Well, considering they were so big on, we've got to keep this Big Four, and then they lost 3 of them, and the one they kept, if you're going to keep one of those 4, I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but Tedesco every day of the week. Oh my God.
I think the thing with Tedesco though was he was so injury prone.
That's true. Yeah. Anyway, that's South for me. They're paying $1.10 versus
suck shit Tigers.
Tigers $7. Isn't that your mum's team, the Tigers?
Yeah, loser. Absolute loser.
She used to cheerlead for him, didn't she? She goes, all right.
Actually, funny story about recent events with Tommy Rodriguez-Stein.
Oh, yeah.
He was playing for West at that time, that she was the cheerleader for him. And so they used to train on the same field. Like the footy players would be training at one point at one side of the field, and the cheerleaders would be doing their thing down the other end. And they used to go for beers and everything after training and stuff all the time. Apparently.
That's all right.
Yeah, pretty hectic.
Good stuff.
Yeah, crazy.
Rightio, Saturday night we've got Raiders versus Eels down here in sunny Canberra. For those who hadn't, we hadn't mentioned where we're recording from yet. I'm in Canberra, but Hodgie,
true.
Brisbane. It's been cold this week, man.
Greater Western Brisbane.
It's been cold this week. It is going to be cold Saturday night, I reckon. So back in the Raiders, they love the cold, the green machine.
Yeah, I feel like the Paras seem to be slipping a little bit. I feel like they started the year with a lot of confidence, but especially last week, they just didn't look like the team that they have been.
Yeah, they've been as unreliable as Blake Ferguson's hands.
Oh, mate, hasn't he had a shocker?
Anyway, Sunday, Arvo, we've got Dragons Warriors at, where's that? Cogra.
What's that called now?
Netstrata Jubilee. Netstrata.
What was it before?
Win Jubilee and then Oki Jubilee before.
Oh, Win Jubilee, that's right, yeah.
Cogra.
Yeah. I'll definitely got Dragons in that one, I think.
Definitely. They've started fast.
They've flipped some sort of... They're sitting 4th at the moment. That's crazy.
This is what Hook does.
Everyone's like tipping them as like being one of the... Yeah.
Anthony Griffin comes into a team and he gets them going pretty quick, but I reckon you and I, as fans of teams that have been previously coached by Anthony Griffin,
dude,
you
sort of find
that you sort of find that he starts off fast, he gets a team firing early, but then they sort of fizzle out after a season or two. I kind of found that
they're 4-1.
Tough.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. All right, and
they've won 4 games in a row. That's hectic.
The last game of the round, if I had a fart sound effect, I would be applying it right now.
God.
North Queensland versus Canterbury up in Townsville. That is going to be a shocker.
I'm just going to say Cowboys just because it's in North Queensland. I don't. There's nothing more to put to that, I don't think.
There's going to be more drop balls than a 13-yard boys' choir, I think.
It's going to be proper rank.
Yeah.
Although, hang on.
You would have to say.
Oh yeah, they just got flogged by the Storm.
You would have to say, despite, you know, and this is pretty rich coming from a Broncos supporter, this is the battle for the spoon, this game.
Oh, by far.
Yeah, so there you have it. We've got our tips in. Oh wait, no, I didn't tip this game. I am going to go the Cowboys though.
I think it's the safest bet.
They got that upset.
It's based on nothing,
too, didn't they?
The Cowboys. Oh, they did too.
Against the Tigers.
I forgot about that. Against the Tigers, yeah.
Down at Leichhardt too. Have they ever won there before? Thurston never won a game at Leichhardt.
Yeah, no, I think I did hear a stat about it when I was watching the game, but it's been they've either never won there or they haven't won since 2000, I think.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
I think it
was like 21 years or something like
that. I think it was 2000.
I remember it because it was the same referee.
Oh, really?
You know, was it Chechen? That was the ref.
Oh, was it?
That was was it him? Yeah, apparently he reffed that game in 2000. He's been around for 21 years. That's unbelievable, isn't it? I thought he was like 40 something.
Yeah.
But he must be well older than that. Like he's like right in his 50s, yeah.
Could be.
He's doing all right.
Yeah, all right. So that's the NRL.
All right.
So yeah, I guess we can move on if you'd like, or wrap it up. It's up to you. Got other news?
How long have we been going for? Has it been going for a while?
Nearly in about 40 minutes, I think.
Yeah, I reckon we're.
Which, yeah, I mean, we've got a few topics we could talk about. Prince Philip died this week, as did DMX. No one's talking about DMX.
DMX, how hectic is that? He was pretty young too. He sounded like 40 something.
He's 50. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, that's the thing that shocked me more, that he's actually 50. Yeah.
I mean, he was pretty nuts in the 90s, I suppose. So he's been around a while.
Yeah. I probably should have researched a bit more before bringing up DMX dying, because I don't even know how he died.
I was just about to ask, do you ever know how he died? I have no idea. No one gives a shit because of that whole racist dude. Yeah, Prince Philip.
Oh,
everyone's seen that coming, but he looked like complete death.
Oh, mate. Looked like Skeletor. No disrespect. No disrespect. I mean, you know, he has got his haters for a lot of the stuff that he said over the years, but I mean, you know, I don't agree with everything that he said over his lifetime, but he's also done a lot of good. You know, Australian kids are big benefactors of the Duke of Edinburgh scheme, which he was a big champion for and very involved in it as well. So you know, good on you, Phil. Good innings. He did the Shane Warne.
You want to know something random? Apparently, I'm pretty sure there's a. I wish I had looked into it more. I saw it on a show. I'm pretty sure it's in Fiji. I could be mistaken, but there's like a tribe I believe, in Fiji. Yeah.
Yeah.
How freaking nuts is that? Like they're proper, like he's their god. So it would actually be interesting to know, one, whether they know that he's dead, and two, how they're taking it, because I'm probably sure they're probably the most shouted out of everyone in the world.
Yeah, not a great moment for your religion when your god dies.
It's a little bit weird though, given his take on other nationalities and races and whatnot.
I just googled DMX.
Those people would be things. What did he die of?
Heart attack, possibly resulting from a drug overdose.
Correct. Cocaine, brother. Devil's dandruff will do it to you every day.
Apparently, he was heavy into crack, from what I'm reading here. But anyway, yeah. So
really, there you
go. Yeah. So, do you want to talk about anything else before we wrap up? Or
no, I think that's pretty good.
I think episode one we've gone a bit long. We probably got a bit bogged down on a few topics there, namely John Morris and Anthony Milford. But yeah, it's episode one. Hope everyone.
No, I think it's good. I think it's good.
I think we've come out pretty well actually. So anyway, we'll wrap up this one.
Hopefully, episode 2 will be a few more participants.
Yeah, and hopefully we've got some listeners for episode 1. I'm going to guess the participants in episode 2 might be our only listeners for episode
1. Deciding whether or not they're going to be participants in episode 2.
Yeah, but anyway, we've got a Instagram page. Is that right? You've got the deets on that?
Well, yeah, we do. So it is, I believe it's just called Peacecast. It is Peace_cast, which at some point will probably change the name at some point.
Yeah, and it's PIECE, not give peace a chance. Peace, it's piece of shit.
Yeah, no, it's PI. Oh, that's not going to work, is it? Can you see that?
Yeah. There you go. Peace_cast. Yeah. So don't look up hippie peace. Look up.
Yeah, not peace. Yeah, that's what it's short for. Piece of shit.
Yes, that's the story behind Peacecast. Is peace is short for piece of shit. So that's what we call each other in our group of friends. So yeah,
good blokes.
Yeah. So hope you enjoyed episode 1, and we'll be back with episode 2 once we've sorted out a time. So thanks very much, Hodgie. I had a good time. I hope you did too.
It was a pleasure. Yeah, that was perfect. I reckon that was a good first.
Yeah,
good first one to get under our belt.
Exactly. Good first 10 overs, I thought. Yeah. All right. Well,
so you're going to be able to save it and post it up or something?
Yeah. We'll
should we make a YouTube channel?
Stop the recording first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peace.
Let's do that.